Of all the negatives that come from modernity, the most glaring bane would have to be genocide. Whether it be of a religious, political, or racial group, the systematic annihilation of an entire group of people is modernity's original sin, whether it be the Holocaust, Armenia, Bosnia, or Cambodia. These atrocities shaped the 20th century. While these genocides and mass killings are certainly worthy of discussion and study, there is one massacre that unfortunately has gone mostly unnoticed in the collective psyche. This genocide was that of the Parsley Massacre, whereby 17,000 to 35,000 Haitians were killed by the Dominican army acting under the orders of Dominican dictator Rafael Trujillo. While this massacre may not be as well known as some other acts of genocide, it is still worthy of study as it can highlight the reasoning and mechanisms for a state to commit violence against a certain group of people. A state does not automatically decide to commit genocide out of the blue. A state commits genocide in response to societal and cultural factors that bubble over until it leads to direct violence. The catalyst that would eventually lead to the Parsley Massacre would begin in the early 1910s. From 1910 to 1930, there was a large migration of Haitians to the neighboring country of the Dominican Republic. This migration increased dramatically in 1916 with the U.S. occupation of Haiti, whereby U.S. companies would import Haitian workers in order to decrease the cost of labor. It is estimated that well over 200,000 Haitians migrated to the Dominican Republic during this period. Starting in 1935, Dominican dictator Rafael Trujillo, who at this point was serving as the president, began to impose restrictions on Haitian labor. He also attempted to deport Haitians who were living along the border areas. However, both of these measures were ultimately unsuccessful due to the extremely corrupt nature of the Dominican administration. Tensions further increased in April of 1937 when Cuba began to deport thousands of Haitians who arrived unemployed en masse to the Dominican Republic. Because of the Great Depression, the Dominican Republic also experienced a deep economic decline during the 30s, where the price of sugar dropped on the world market, which was the country's main export. In August of 1937, Trujillo was touring the border towns where he received complaints that Haitians were raiding cattle in the area, which was what gave him the excuse to initiate the massacre. On October 2nd, while at a celebration in Dajabon, Trujillo made a speech accusing the Haitian community of committing various depredations among the Haitians living among them. On that same day, hundreds of Dominican soldiers were brought in from various other regions of the country to the northwestern frontier and were under strict orders to kill all Haitians living in the area. After they poured into the area, the Dominican soldiers began systematically killing all Haitians through the use of rifles, bayonets, and most especially machetes. There were reports that Dominican soldiers would throw babies up into the air and catch them on their bayonets, whereby they would then be thrown onto their mothers' corpses. Dominican troops also beheaded thousands of Haitians with machetes. The popular name that is most commonly attributed to the massacre supposedly comes from the way that soldiers identified whether someone was of Afro-Dominican heritage or Afro-Haitian heritage. A soldier would hold up a sprig of perejil, which is the Spanish word for parsley, and ask the victim what it was. Because of the language differences between Haitian Creole and Spanish, the R in Perejil was difficult for Haitians to pronounce. Despite being the most well-known name for the massacre, most scholars, such as Laurent Derby, have concluded that that explanation is based more on legend as opposed to fact, as the term Parsley Massacre appears nowhere published by Trujillo-era writers.